Hey, my name is Miranda Hall, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the T-test and how it's related to the growth mindset, like how I see that the two are related to each other. So first of all, I want to talk about the T-test. The T-test stands for the acronym T-TESS stands for Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System. So, it's actually a really recent evaluation system that the teachers are using. I've heard teachers talk about it, but never really truly knew what they were talking about. I just knew that they would say, oh, the T-test, have you heard about that new evaluation system? So now I actually have a little bit more insight onto what the T-test is, and it actually just went into place in 2014. So that was interesting to see that it was really new. It's only been around for 3 years. So it went into effect in 2014. The T-test is made up of different domains on what teachers are looked at when they are evaluated or observed. The different domains are planning, instruction, learning environment, and professional practices and responsibilities. So those are the 4 domains. So those are the main things that you see when you look at the T-test. But then also inside of those domains are dimensions. So I look at the dimensions as just a little bit more explanation of what each domain is. So each domain has 4 or 5 different dimensions. They differ in between domains. But for example, in the domain learning environment, one of the dimensions is classroom culture. So I believe when they say classroom culture, they're meaning that teachers need to provide a safe place for kids to have to express their culture and for other people to be accepting of that. So your classroom needs to be a safe place, and that classroom culture, that dimension that's inside of that domain, is just there so when someone comes into your classroom, they can see that you have that safe place, that you're following the domains of the T-test, and you have a comfortable learning environment for your students. So the dimensions just break up that domain more for you and give you more specific details onto what they mean by that domain. And then for another dimension, like another example, on the domain that's professional practices and responsibilities, there's a dimension, well, they have a couple, and it's goal setting, professional appearance, and school community involvement. So this domain I thought was different than the other ones because it's called professional practices and responsibilities. The other 3 were geared more towards teacher interaction with students. I feel like this one was mostly just geared towards the teacher, like your professional appearance, how you're looking when you come to school, how you're acting, your ethics. Are you being ethical? Are you being an ethical teacher? Are you following that code of ethics that you agreed to? And then like the school community involvement. Are you getting out there and being involved in your school community, or are you just staying in your classroom and not worrying about anything but your classroom? So that's how I took that domain, or take that domain, is they're all supposed to be a reflection. All the domains are supposed to be something that a teacher can look at and say, these are areas I'm good at and these are areas I need to improve. But I feel like that one is really geared towards teachers looking at themselves and saying, okay, am I being ethical? Am I being just doing what I'm supposed to do? And then there's the evaluation process. There's different steps that you go through in the T-test. You have the orientation, goal setting, pre-conference, observation, post-conference, and end-of-year conference. So those are the different steps you take to complete the T-test. That's like for a full year. You start out with orientation if you've never been introduced to T-test before, and it goes through everything you need to know. You have meetings with your appraiser, which is the person that is basically going to be accountable for you throughout the year. You're going to come to them with your goals. You're going to meet with them, talk about your observations. They're going to observe you, talk about domains you need to work on. So the evaluation process is just those steps. The order of the steps you need to take to complete the T-test throughout the year. So, talking about how it's related to growth mindset is when a person betters themselves from failure. So, it's like a student messing up on something, and instead of just saying, "Oh, I don't want to do this anymore, I can't do it, I failed, and I just can't do it," it's them taking a growth mindset, which is seeing that failure, realizing that they fail, and knowing that they can come back and learn from that failure. Carol Dweck is who came up with this idea, and it's actually proven by science that our brain learns more from failures than just constantly getting stuff right. So I think the two are related in that the T-test is there for teachers to improve, continuously improve year to year. I mean, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, you want to see growth in those domains in the different areas that you have weaknesses in, so that you need to have that growth mindset. And I honestly feel that if teachers have the growth mindset and they portray that to their students, then the students will take on that growth mindset and you'll see it in your class. So I hope this gave you a little information on T-TESS and the growth mindset. Thank you.